Hey guys, so welcome back to part 3 of the Galvao vs Gordon Ryan super fight. Thank you so much for all the support. I really appreciate it. At the time of this recording, I still only had 81 subscribers. Sorry, I shouldn't say only had. I have 81 subscribers. I'm really excited by that. If you're enjoying the content, please jump on board. It would be really cool to have you as part of our the channel. I really want to grow the channel into a proper community, where potentially even you guys can send me your matches, your competition matches, and I can maybe do some breakdowns for you. But if you have any suggestions for matches you want to see broken down, please let me know in the comments below. I'd love to interact with you guys, so please don't hesitate to leave a comment. It'd be really cool. Now, last part of it, into the back control series, and we're going to break it down, watch it together. Hopefully this one's a bit shorter than the last two, but we'll go from there. So we ended up with the we ended up with the body lock, with the wrist control, hand over the top, threatening the chokes, and this is where we're up to now. So we're going to be here, and we start looking at what they're doing. So obviously the back control is very difficult, and what Gordon's doing is he wants to stop Galvao from coming up the body. So the body lock triangle is really good, but you'll see him every so often using this foot on the hip to push it down. And we're just going to watch together for a little bit, because again, it's going to be the same as the passing, very close to getting a rear naked. He just slipped it in. What was I going to say? They'll repeat actions a lot until Galvao makes a mistake and loses, basically. And so we'll watch it together, and then I'll point out a couple, and then we'll just like let it roll. Do you know what I mean? So what happened here was we swapped the body lock triangle. Oh, sorry, he didn't swap the body lock triangle, but he re-locked it. And then because Galvao's on the strong side, quote unquote, now, Gordon can start looking to slip the arm straight in. Then he almost got this, but I think Galvao's just got his face in the way. And then Gordon decides against ripping his head off. He probably could pull through it, but again, Gordon wants technical finish. He doesn't want big brute finish, that sort of thing. And so he regains the control. Now, what he's doing is he'll be going for a combination of controls, and I'll point them out as we go. But the first is like a shovel scoop wrist wrap that you can see here. He's trying to wrist wrap control, and then he'll be going for opposite side wrist control into what's called a straight jacket. And so what this does, this carnival ride / wrist wrap control, is it stops Galvao from using this hand effectively. He needs to go out before bringing it back in, which Gordon, just because he has an underhook here, will just wait to re-grab it. And it frees up, so if Gordon pulls down, it frees up Gordon's hand to start wrapping for the choke. And you can see how Gordon crossed his feet a little bit there. The feet are more crossed here, but he's not really in danger because he's turning his foot out and his heel is down. So this is completely fine. It'd just be a bit unpleasant, but we saw Nicky Rod break Gordon's foot, and Gordon didn't care. He was walking on it, so pretty sure his feet are just fucked, and he doesn't care, and he just wants to maintain the control. Sorry about that. The video's buffering, but you can see he's doing what I said. He tried to go for the triangle, but Galvao's a little bit too high, so now he's going for the hip control to push down. And now he gets the body lock that the Galvao's a bit further down. And you can see now he went for opposite side wrist control, and Galvao's going for same side wrist control. Now it looks like Galvao can get out, but because how tight the body lock is, it's very difficult for Galvao to start turning, and so on and so forth. And now Galvao's trying to get up, but Gordon just gets his double unders and follows, and so on and so forth. And he's fighting for wrist control. Can't really see what's going on. Outstanding production value. Now we can see what's going on. And so he goes for wrist control again, but Galvao has the leverage, and so he pulls out of it. And it's just like this battle to start controlling it now. Gordon's, you got to remember as well with the back control. So we'll get into this idea in a second. But you got to remember that the idea with the back control is that the attacks are part of the control. So Galvao only has 2 resources at the moment, and like tucking the chin in basically, but really it's only 2 out of the available 4 resources. Gordon has all 4 into the fight, which is what makes back control devastating. Not to mention, you can't actually see the other person, and so because my coach used to say, "You're like a crab. All your weapons are at the front. If you get behind them, it's going to be very difficult for them to use their hands backwards," that sort of thing. And so now, excuse me, sorry. Getting back into what I was saying. The control part of it is the attack, because Galvao only has the 2 resources, and he needs to dedicate the resources into trying to weaken the control as well as defending the attack. And because he's got resources stacked up against him, that's a very difficult ask. He either needs to dedicate 2 to 2 or 2 to 2, or 1 to 2 and 1 to 2. And anyway, you slice that, he's outnumbered. And so Gordon's mixing up the control with slight attack attempts, and you can see how he's going for opposite side wrist control, because he wants to isolate another resource again, because it'd be easier again to fight 2-on-1 dedicatedly for the submission. And so what he's trying to do here, what he's trying to do here is he's trying to lift the leg over the top of the elbow, and Galvao's keeping it high, because Galvao knows that if this foot comes over the elbow and he manages to relock the body lock, it's all over Red Rover. And he almost manages it, and Galvao tries to abandon the defense of the hand in favor of the defense of the arm. And he's pushing on the leg, which is very difficult, and you can see how Gordon's now like pulling the only defensive mechanism out of the way, and he'll be hacking in super tight with his heel. And so now he's stopping Galvao from getting his hand back into the fight, basically. And he rolls to the side, that same side, where the leg came from, because the foot's already over the top. So all he has to do now is get his spare leg free and then body lock, like re-triangle lock it, that sort of thing. And now you saw Gordon reset this position, and now all of a sudden he's got a super tight body lock with the hand trapped, and now he's got 2 resources against 1, and these 2 resources are limiting 3. And so now you can see 1 resource versus 1 resource, and now the only thing that he has left is dropping his chin, and so Gordon's just going to like plow in. My coach used to say anything below eyebrows is neck, but Gordon wants to be a gentleman. And he wants to go for finger control, because it's harder to push out at the end of the leverage, and also because there's slack in the wrist, you have to go through the slack of your wrist before you can start pushing out, which uses a lot of strength. So you can see he's trying to swap this hand into this hand, basically. And he just manages it, but then Galvao managed to slip down, slip the wrist down, and you can see it's like a relatively weak control. But now, as I said before, part of the control is the attack. And now he gets the that same wrist control that we were just talking about. Now this is very difficult position. And Galvao managed to get out of it again, and then he's trying to swap into just whichever hand he can get underneath the neck, basically. So we'll watch it all together, and we'll just keep going unless something interesting. Well, it's all interesting, but unless something new happens, basically, because it's all just the same repetition of stuff, and you guys don't need me to keep on pointing out what he's doing all the time. Now this is a difficult position for Galvao to play because what he needs to be doing, ironically, he needs to be lifting his head up and going tall so that he can start pulling this elbow out so he can start bringing it back into the fight. Problem with going tall is you expose the neck, obviously. So he's kind of like in a catch-22, where if he goes for the defense, he loses. If he doesn't go for the defense, he loses. So you can see how he's trying to go up the body right there with the feet like pushing him up. He's trying to go up the body and he almost gets the leg out, but Gordon's not allowing it. He just like squeezes tighter. And then Galvao's going for the correct idea, which is going tall, and then trying to rotate this shoulder down as he rotates the other shoulder up to turn and to face Gordon. But Gordon's just not allowing it. It's really hard with this body triangle to do that. I can't see what's going on through the ref, but that's okay. What you'll find is it's all the same stuff happening. Is Gordon's just looking for that opening, trying to get that wrist control. Very difficult position to play. And again, he's just same idea as what we were discussing before. He knows that this on the hand will give him the greatest chance of using his other hand to wrap and choke. So every single time he just resets, trying to get that grip. That's just what happens, and now you can see he's like working for the choke. And then Galvao gets out of it. He goes for re-establishment of control, grabs the wrist, peels it off, goes for the choke. And then he's just patient with it. And because how many times do you think you can do like a neck crunch down before you get tired? Yeah, and so Galvao almost manages to get out there. Almost. Here, he manages to almost get out. So Gordon, being proper professional, instead of trying to force the hand back underneath, he moves away to scoop with his hand under the head to regain the control. And then that's what allows him to regain this control, and it doesn't matter. And then he goes back to what he was doing. And effectively what he's trying now is like a head and arm choke from the back. It's like the rotolotine, whatever it is. Where if you manage to get like a proper lock up, you can just squeeze side in and then get the tap this way, especially if they're already puffed. But I think Galvao's a bit too tough for that, so he goes back to what he was doing. And now the problem is as well, and I know I said that I'd let you guys watch this, but it's just good jiu-jitsu, is that Galvao has the one resource and he's trying to defend like so. So Gordon goes, okay, you can hold on to that, I'll just bring the other one out and start hunting. as you can see. And then the resource that Galvao was defending now becomes the defense of the new one. And so it's a very, very difficult position to play, you know. And you can see that Gordon's now underneath the chin. And because he's underneath the chin, he's keeping the arm long, there's not much that can be done from here. He's starting to slowly sink the hand in, and he pulls it to the correct side, like the strong side, because now Galvao will be like falling into it, and his hand is still being brought out of the way, and now he's choking now. And then yeah, Galvao knows it's over, and it's over. That sort of thing. So let's watch that again. What allowed Gordon to win was bringing one hand into the fight that Galvao defends, and then bringing the second resource in, which he can no longer defend because he's committed to the first, which is why obviously the hand trapped is such a dominating position. Yeah, and it's over. And then Flow Grappling does their best to give everyone an epileptic seizure, and then we go from there. Very good fight. Very good fight. Very dominating performance by Gordon. And you know, they're showing each other respect. It's a really beautiful send-off actually for Galvao. Yeah, really beautiful send-off for Galvao, because, you know, no one can stay the top forever. It's just the way it goes, the progression of everything. With the, as I said in the last video, largely, like, there was only a couple mistakes that Galvao were making, but they were consistent mistakes. And he used all of his energy coming out really rough. And he's just like, well, why? It's a waste of your energy. And we see that like wearing down in the energy meter, where they were pretty equal to begin with. Gordon was definitely more proactive, and I think that Gordon has a better mentality for jiu-jitsu for sure. And then obviously it's easier to attack a legacy than it is to defend a legacy. So if you're Galvao and you're like really not wanting to lose, it's ironic because you like in your attempt to not lose, you end up making more mistakes. But they were very equal, but Galvao just came out super aggressive and then burned through his first ATP and then his lactic acid reserves quicker than Gordon did. And I think that's ultimately what managed to win Gordon the fight, was the that, and you know, some like small mistakes that allowed Gordon on top, and then the pressure play and the draining from there and all the rest of it. And then Galvao not getting on his side and doing the underhooks and all the rest of it, and this, that, and the other is what managed to let Gordon win this match. But it was proper dominating performance by Gordon in it's a clinic of beautiful basics, and like pristine jiu-jitsu and patience and and perseverance and proactiveness with what you should be doing. So yeah, it's just a clinic of how to use pressure properly. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed that. Please let me know what you thought. If you did, leave a comment down below. If you like the content, please don't hesitate to click that subscribe button. It makes me feel like an actual YouTuber. Again, I get so much out of this analysis. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. I'll be happy to try my best to answer them. And again, if you have any matches you want me to cover next, just comment down below and I'll do it. Thank you so much, guys. Have a good rest of your day.